And to really kick off this image, this is a Nintendo Classic image from Mad Little Pixel. It's 8 gigabytes. It works for the Pi W0, 1, 2, and 3. So no matter what your Pi, it's going to work. It'll fit on an 8 gigabyte SD card. So this is really a budget system. And it's meant to compete with like the SNES or the NES Classic build. Check out my video tomorrow where I put a Pi Zero inside of this thing. So I was unsuccessful setting up this controller. I think the controller itself is a little broken. Some of the soldering is messed up. So I'm unfortunately not going to be able to use this controller on the Pi. It should work though, typically, especially with the USB adapter that I have. But what I'm going to do is I'm still going to try to put a Pi Zero in it and make it its own emulation system. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow. For this video, I'm going to be using the iBuffalo Classic USB gamepad. You've seen me do reviews on it in the past. And here we are on the image. Let's see how many games we got. Let's start at the config. Config is just RetroPie setup. They just changed the names on this. And this is just by far why you want this image, is it looks just like an NES Classic. Now you're probably wondering, there's music in the background. That's not my music. That comes with the image here. There is a way to disable the music. I'll show you that later in the video. But for now, you'll just have to enjoy that. So starting with config, over to the right, we have Super Nintendo and 776 games. Then we have Game Boy, 544. Game Boy Advance, 993. Typically there's about 1100, so it looks like he deleted quite a bit of duplicates in the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Color, 528. NES Classic, 777. And then back to config. This is why this image is so small, is because it doesn't have a lot on it. It just has those systems. And it's right at the 8 gigabyte mark. It has RetroPie 4.2 on it. And as far as the packages, I'm sure it just has all the basic ones in there for you. Alright, if you click into a system, you can go side to side. And as you scroll through the games, you can see all the game art. Looks great for Nintendo. Looks great for Game Boy. Looks great for Game Boy Advance. You can hold down and it'll fast scroll, and then you eventually should be able to see letters. Just like that. So nice, easy to use, easy to find stuff. That picture you saw of the mushroom, that's just what happens if there's no box art. But as you can see, there's a lot of box art already here for you. You have the description on the right, you have ratings, you have how many players on the bottom right, you have how many times you played it, you can see what the company that developed it is, what year it was published, and then the corporation or whatever that produced it. Very nice. By the way, your upper buttons will skip letters if you want to go a little faster. A, B, T, D. Whoa.
Yippee! I am! Yippee! I am!
Get wrecked, dude. I mean, who doesn't want to play Home Improvement? Oh, nice. Staple gun. Freaking pterodactyl, man. I hate when the pterodactyls all this time. Freaking ants and shit. Okay, whoops. Steal. I don't know. Got hot potato. So that's the image. It's super, super basic. The main thing why you're probably going to want to get this image is it is only 8 gigabytes. It will primarily work in the Pi Zero just fine. A lot of people want those Pi Zero images. Here's one for you. And then you have the theme pre-installed. You probably saw this theme. A couple of different YouTubers had this on their YouTube. One of the people in the community made this. And you have to go into Emulation Station and configure the screens. And so this image has that all done for you. So you don't have to actually go in and do that yourself. If you already have an image you like, it might be easier to just apply the skin to that image. But otherwise, if you're starting from scratch, this is a good option to have a Nintendo. For those who want a really simple way to stop the auto, you can run some code. I'll put a link in the description how to run the code. But a really easy way to do that is going to be to go into Config and then go into File Manager. And see the MP3 file is stored in the BGM folder here. As you can see, I just scroll down a little bit, BGM. There's your file, so we can just go ahead and delete that file. So that's F8. Yes, we just deleted it. And then now we can exit F10. All right, and now we have using otherwise, it's very beautiful.